Clinic to bring to you Salandia Hammond right here at the Pearl Clinic TV show. If you haven't ever heard of the Suham Entertainment, today is your day. Call somebody, get them on the phone, and let them know that we're right here on the air, and we'll be right back. Salandia, welcome to the Pearl Clinic TV show.
Thank you, Dr. Kimberly. It's a pleasure to be here. So right now today, I'm a lover of God and people.
Yes.
I am a mother of 3 beautiful children. I have a beautiful grandson. I recently opened up a studio about 2-3 years ago. We do stage plays. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and I'm also a councilwoman for Williamsburg County.
Yes, Councilwoman, Williamsburg County. All right. So when you said you opened up a studio, stage play, motivational speaking, you have also written some production that have gotten some great spotlights.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. You know, growing up in a rural area, not a whole lot of opportunity there. So one of the things that I learned quickly is when opportunity doesn't exist, you have to create it.
You have to create it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that led me to writing stage plays and then producing them because I wanted to be on stage as well. And but what I realized that it wasn't just about me, it was also about creating an opportunity and a platform for others, because there are a lot of people in that rural town that wanted to act, wanted to get behind the camera, because there's longevity behind the camera.
Yes.
And others who wanted to write and produce and direct. And so by doing so, it afforded other people an opportunity to see what goes on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Have you ever realized acting would allow them to portray and to become free of what they actually are experiencing in life?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's so crazy because I always say this: the arts show us who we are.
Yes.
And who we can become. So it definitely frees you. Matter of fact, my stage play, Beautiful Minds, which is a play about anti-bullying and self-love and self-acceptance and forgiveness, second chances. At the time when we cast the students, because they were actually in high school, I had no idea that 90% of them had been bullied. And I had no idea that some of them were quiet in school. You know, they took a chance by coming out and auditioning. They wanted to step out of their comfort zone. And so when you're doing rehearsals 3-4 times a week, you know, for like 3 months, you become close with people. And so they let me in behind the scenes on what was going on with their life. And they had been bullied, been quiet, but through that play, they were able to tell other people about the things they went through. They were able to heal, or at least start the healing process. And they became vocal, you know, and other kids in the school like, yo, you were in a play, you did this, you were amazing. I never knew you had that in you. And so that's why I'm a big proponent of the arts, because it does so much more than just put you on a stage in front of people. It builds confidence, it builds self-esteem, it builds your speaking skills, it builds unity, because you got to work as a team when you're dealing with stage plays and movies of that sort. So definitely. It helps people.
That's absolutely amazing, because I've seen where you are actually, you know, not really changing the lives of people, but you're changing the communities. You're changing the city that you're in. And there's a scripture in the book of Jeremiah where I've always told that, you know, if you're going to go into a city or be in that city, there's no need to complain about it. You need to pray and then make something happen in that city. And so that's what you're doing in what is Williamsburg County. You're making things happen. And so, you know, talk a little bit about the changes that you're doing with homes and you know, just remodeling, revamping, and because it changed the community. It changed the whole look of the city. When you can take something that has been dilapidated and become creative to make it something beautiful.
Thank you for taking notice in that. And, you know, I look at that rehabbing old homes is the same as creating a script.
Yes.
And that's a baby, you know, and you're nurturing it and you're bringing it to life. You're teaching it different things. So many people discard old things and think that there's no treasure in it.
Yes.
And a lot of the old homes are the better built homes,
Yes,
you know,
they are.
because those materials, a lot of builders don't want to use anymore because they're expensive. And so everybody's in this capitalistic world. And I'm not saying don't get your money, because I'm all about getting your money, but I'm also about doing people the right way.
Yes.
And so our thing is we're transforming homes, neighborhoods, and people. And we do that by buying older homes and remodeling, because we know that there is a housing shortage, which has been that way for a long time for me in my county. I moved back home after the Marine Corps in 2003, and there was no place for me to live.
Wow.
So I mean, you know, I wanted to rent first, and there was no place to rent. So I had to live with family. There were only about maybe 10 houses on the market at the time. So, of course, I had to get an older house and remodel it. And I was like, man, this is crazy. And here we are, fast forward 2022.
Yes.
The problem has probably progressively gotten worse.
Yes.
Which is,
yes.
you know, and so one of the things I wanted to do was transform neighborhoods by fixing up these dilapidated houses and giving people an affordable place to live, you know, something they wouldn't be ashamed of.
Exactly.
I also wanted to help people to instill pride in themselves and for them to know that every landlord is not a slum landlord.
Yes.
So we take pride in our properties. We try to instill that pride into our tenants. We do a stringent screening process, but more importantly, we're upbuilding the neighborhood, and we don't just provide a great house. We also try to provide financial literacy to our tenants as well. So I love doing it. Love doing it.
Financial literacy. And so with your tenants, you don't have, with teaching them financial literacy, you're not set up to have them in there forever.
No. But, you know, my thing is, listen, here's the thing, you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad says a house is a liability. And I do believe that a house is a liability in the sense that it does not bring you money in. So anything that you're paying money out to is a liability. However, if you're building equity into this house and you have the financial literacy to go and refinance this house and pull that equity out, it is no longer a liability because you're using that equity to fund a business or to fund something that is now providing you some money. So it becomes an asset.
Yes. And yes.
It becomes an asset. So I do encourage people for home ownership, but I also say you're not going to become wealthy by just home ownership, just sitting on your equity. And we all know that equity, in a sense, is like an imaginary thing because one day it's up.
And then one day
and the next day it's down. So I do encourage home ownership, but a lot of people just want to rent. And I'd say, hey, there's nothing wrong with that because there are a lot of renters who start businesses or who buy other properties and lease them out to people. So it's up to them, but the most important thing is hey, create some assets that's gonna allow you to pay for your toys. Don't just go get into a bunch of debt and get up and go to work just to pay for toys that you don't even really get to use because you're at work all the time trying to make sure they don't get taken back.
Or two, not the fact that you don't use it, but it doesn't bring you an asset back in.
Right.
You know, we tend to like toys that we have to buy, but it doesn't bring value or add value to us. One of the things as a TV show host, producer, and just kind of in the limelight of people, I look at it like, you know, when you're doing that, are you going to represent every brand and not yourself?
Come on.
Are you going to spend every dime that you make trying to make somebody else rich and not yourself? Make sure you're taking care of you.
Absolutely.
You can look good in a no brand just as well as a brand, because when you're branding from somebody else, not you.
Absolutely.
So I need to look good and make sure I'm looking good to brand me.
Absolutely. And you know, it says, you know, a good person leaves an inheritance for your children's children. So,
come on.
You know, what is that inheritance? Is that your brand? Is that your reputation? Is that wealth? You know, so we have to look at this in multiple ways. Is that knowledge? You know, because a lot of times too, we don't pass the knowledge on to our children so that they can equip themselves to be able to use it. People say knowledge is power, but I say applied knowledge is power. Once I've done my job with giving you the knowledge, now it's on you to apply it.
It's almost like having faith.
Yes.
You know, faith without works is dead. So if you don't apply the faith, it's not going to work for you. And I think we missed a point as people in learning to pass on the knowledge, especially when you said financial literacy. We're always supposed to be trying to upbring the generation that is behind us, which is our children and our children's children, to leave that inheritance. And so how are we going to leave it if we're not being responsible with what we have? So rather than leaving an inheritance, we end up leaving a generational curse.
Come on,
God.
Somebody. Come on, somebody.
Jesus.
Listen, come on, somebody.
And we remain to keep our own self in bondage.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't apply the knowledge, which is a lack of knowledge. And the Bible says we shall perish for a lack of knowledge. What advice would you give the listeners on today as to how to go about transforming the life of someone through the financial literacy? Because, you know, we have our own testimonies that we have gone through, and we know it didn't work for us. And in order for something to work for them, they have to do something different.
Right. Well, you know, here's the thing. If you're watching this, you're born into a technological age. I was having this conversation off camera where I feel, and this is my personal feeling, if you have a cell phone, there's no reason to be ignorant or broke.
Yes. Oh, Jesus. Yes.
Because there's Google and there's YouTube.
Yes.
You don't even have to have a product nowadays to make money online. You can simply be an influencer. You can just do motivational videos, pick up your phone, get enough viewers. YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook will pay you for those views. You can create t-shirts and sell them online. You no longer have to go through a third person. You don't have to have a brick and mortar. You can actually record an audio book on your phone, sell it through PayPal, sell it through payhip.com, sell it through gumroad.com. You can do so many different things. You can create a TV show. You can film a movie with your cell phone. So again, if you own a cell phone, which I know you do, there's no reason to be ignorant or broke. So if you want financial literacy, simply Google, YouTube, mentors, people like Dr. Kimberly who are here. Knock on her door. Don't come and say, hey, what can you do for me? Say, hey, I see this is what you're doing. I want to serve you. Don't ask, how can I serve you? Look for ways that you can enrich and enhance her life, because she doesn't have time to tell you what she needs. She needs somebody to come to her and say, listen, I want to do this, 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 and for you. You don't have to pay me. I just want to sit at your feet and learn. This is how we get ahead today. You'll be so surprised at how many people come knock on my door and they say they want the information, but I can tell right off they're not going to do anything with it. Because if I direct you to a 1-hour webinar and you don't have time to watch that, then how are you going to have time to sit at my feet and learn what I have and actually execute on the knowledge that I give you? So, my friends, pick up that cell phone, Google, YouTube, knock on the doors of mentors, be serious, be consistent, be authentic, and you will get to where you need to go.
Oh, wow. That's good stuff right there. Listen, be consistent, be authentic. You don't have to be a copycat. There's a creative person in you. Everything that God created was fearfully and wonderfully made. She said something else that I loved. She said, you know, be willing to sit at the feet of somebody else to get what you need. We lack that. We always want somebody to hand us out and give us when we don't make the sacrifice. You got to make the sacrifice. And in that sacrifice, first becomes the idea or the thought that you want to be loyal. You know, you don't want to just rob somebody of what they have and think they're just going to give it to you when they have paid for it. Time, sacrifice, you know, just studying, just trying to get these things to become who we need to be. And I love what she said is, you know, acting allows you to, you know, portray your gift or to become the person you want to be, which means if you're listening and you're tuning in and you're not who you want to be, that is not an excuse to stop. That's not an excuse choose to just lay down your gifts, your talents, or just decide that you're just going to wither and die. That's a move right there for you to get up. A move means that you got to get up and do something while you're here. She has given us some real good stuff on this part of the segment. I want to just tell you, we're going to pause right there. We got a lot more for you. Listen, if you missed the first opportunity, take this time to get on the phone and tell somebody that we are on the air, and we'll be right back. Hello, everyone. I am Pastor Kimberly Green, and I am looking for you on Sunday mornings right here at Renewed Life Worship Center, located at 3900 Camden Highway in the great city of Dazzle, South Carolina. Come be spirit-filled to help and to receive the tools that you would need to live that abundant life that God has called you to live. Come join us at 10 o'clock a.m. every Sunday morning. And if you're out of the area, listen, always join us online on Facebook, the Renewed Life Worship Center page, so that you can get the relevant word that can help you live the abundant life that God has called you to live. Join us on Sundays at 10 o'clock a.m. Welcome back to the Prayer Clinic TV show. If you're just joining us, we have Salandia Hammond, Suham Entertainment, in the studios with us. Before we went to break, she said something that was so profound, and we're going to come back with this. And the Bible says that if you teach a man to fish, he will be able to feed himself. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I would love to do that. I believe in immersing our children into the things that we are doing so that they can learn. I've seen people teaching kids how to play instruments at 1 month old, just putting their hands on the keys. That's called immersement, putting them into it. You know, in the black household, when we were growing up, it's always said, don't come around me when I'm talking about business and this and this and that. And I am so totally against that. I'm about involving my children in everything that I do and everything that I say, because you want them to learn the business. You want them to grow up and hear the motivational things. You want them to see the failure and for them to realize that you're learning through that failure. And that's how you're teaching kids. Sometimes you can talk to people and it just bounces off of them. But if they can just be immersed in it, just watch what you do, then they can tend to emulate what you do and even take it to another level and take it higher than you ever could have taken it, which is what you want for the generations behind you to do, is to take it to another level.
Yes.
So, yeah, I believe in teaching a kid to fish, teaching an adult to fish, because listen, there's going to come a day when I'm going to get weary.
That's right.
There's going to come a day when I just want to sit down and rest.
Yes.
And I want to know that I've taught you and I've done my best, and that you can pick up where I left off and there'll be no problem. We can continue to eat, because you shouldn't starve because I can't work. The work that I've done should speak for me.
Yes.
Should speak for the generations to come, and we should be able to eat till we can't eat no more.
And you know, I love what you said, the work that I've done shall speak for me. That should not be when we just leave the earth.
That's right.
I believe that we should make enough noise in the earth that it will break any frequency of lack or a disparity, that it could make a difference in our lives, that we can pertain and hold on to it. I think that we, you know, sometimes fail as a people when we don't want to see the outcome of what the young hands or the generation behind us has learned, you know, without putting them in. I'm a believer, and sometimes people say, well, you're too hard because you can't never satisfy you. It's not the fact that you can't satisfy me. It's just the fact that I believe that if you don't have nobody pushing you, ain't nothing gonna happen. If you don't have anybody lifting you and telling you, you know, that giving you constructive criticism, telling you that these are the things that you need to be involved in. And a lot of times we want success, but we don't want to be involved.
Come on now.
We don't want to get our hands dirty. We don't want to do the hard work.
Come on now.
You know, you see me here, you see me on studio, and you see me dressed nice and clean, but there are times behind the scene I got to get dirty, you know, when things got to come together and there's nobody to do it, or there needs to be another pair of hands. Then that's what you do. You put on your work clothes and you go to work.
That's it. You just said a mouthful right
You
there.
go to work.
That's why I like you.
You go to work.
You go to work.
You got to get your brains. I mean, like you said, if you have a cell phone, there's no need to be ignorant
Or broke.
having lack of knowledge, or either broke. There's so many things you can do, and what this pandemic has taught us, my God, you can do it sitting from home.
Come on now.
You can create
In
whoever
jogging
you
pants.
want to be.
In jogging
Yes,
pants.
in your role.
Yes, absolutely.
with your scarf on, you can create whoever you want to be.
That's it. That's it. You know, it's one of my favorite songs from the church back in the day. This is when the wooden floors, you know.
Yes.
Put your time in. Payday is coming after a while.
That's right.
And I heard that as a child, and I've lived by that.
Wow.
It's like people don't want to put the time in. One of the things is that, you know, this overnight success, what you don't know is overnight success typically takes 10 to 15 years of mastering your craft.
Yes.
Mastering, and
Yes.
then it looks easy. Michael Jordan had a quote that says, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I made it look too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of people see, is they see you on the other side of the obstacles, the other side of bankruptcy.
The other side of hard.
Right, you know what
Broke.
I'm saying? The other side of crying on the floor, wondering how you're going to keep the lights on. And then they figure, oh, I can do that because it looks like you just appeared. But it wasn't like that. It was years of consistency, years of hard work, years of failing and learning, years of learning from mentors. And so put your time in. Payday is coming after a while. And I like the part where you said you're hard. Here's the thing, you've got to be hard on people because, there's a rapper that says yesterday's price is not today's price. So yesterday's excellence, in my opinion, is not today's excellence.
That's
what
the truth.
worked yesterday won't work today. And as
Powerful.
human, God has given us potential, which I really believe will never reach our full potential. But the great thing is the journey on trying, which means that every day you can be better, you can do better, and you can have better. So stay hard on people because excellence is never here. It's always there. And once you get there, it's over there. And once you get there, it's over there. So you got to push yourself to do better and better and better.
You know, sometimes people feel like when they push themselves and there is pain, that pain is forever. Glory be to God, it's not. When you push yourself and you find yourself feeling pain, that is your breakthrough. That's the entrance of your breakthrough, because as you keep going through and the more pain you feel, one day you're going to realize, I have succeeded the pain. I have endured it. I have been persistent, and it gets better. It's almost like, you know, you start out running or exercising or jogging.
Yes.
Of course, you're not going to be able to do the mile without experiencing pain. You can't even do a quarter of a mile without, experiencing pain. But guess what? It's not forever.
It's not. Just like having a baby, being pregnant.
Woo!
You know, it's just like
When you get there, make you forget about the pain.
It really does. When you hear that baby cry, when you look into the face of that baby, it makes you forget about the pain. And for you gentlemen that are watching, just imagine yourself as a star athlete. You're doing the practicing on the field, you know, and it's hurting your body, like you said. But then you win the Super Bowl, you win the championship, or you defeat a record. Or forget defeating a record, forget all the accolades. Just know that you finished.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Knowing that you finished what you started.
Yes.
You forget all about the pain, or either you say it was worth it. Now I'm ready to go to another level. What's my next goal?
Yes.
What else can I do? Because I believe that when you demonstrate excellence and when you accomplish goal, you're really demonstrating the God in you.
The God.
The God in you.
And I'm glad you said that, because while you were speaking, you know, it was like God was just saying, I will finish the work. And so we must understand that anything that he starts, no matter how difficult, hard the task is, God is faithful in allowing us to finish it. When we work in that spirit of excellence, he will not make you ashamed.
Yes. You know, I always tell people, I think about God like how my relationship is with my parents and how my children's relationship is with me. My children are always trying to make me proud, right? And many times when my children do something exceptional, you know, outsiders will be like, you got great parents. They taught you well. Think about it like this with God. Every time that you reach a goal or this potential, you set a higher one and you reach that, God is proud because God is saying, that's my child. They're
Yes.
using the gifts and the time and the resources that I gave them, and they're not just sitting about idly on the couch. They're not
Wow.
making excuses. They're not tearing other people down. Instead, they're demonstrating me in them. So think about that when it comes to your life. Think about that when it comes to your goals, when it comes to relationships. Think about, hey, how can I let the light of God shine through me so people can see God on a daily?
Yes. Wow. Listen, think about how you can let the light of God shine through you, that people can see God daily.
When I go to the barbershop
Daily.
and I see barbers transforming the heads of people, I'm like, you got God in your hands. When I see builders taking a tree and making a pocketbook out of it, I'm like, you got God in your hands. When I see a chiropractor manipulating the bones to release pressure, you've got God in your hands. When I see someone like you who's doing a TV production, who's reaching the multitudes, who's inspiring people, you've got God in you. You know, so God is in each and every one of us. He's given us all gifts.
Yes.
And one of the things I had to learn about was, and I was upset, I was like, God, you've given me gifts. How come I'm not being able to do anything with it? And I just remember God saying, I gave you the gifts. It's up to you to do something with them.
Wow. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because too many times we get upset with God, not because we don't do anything with our gifts, but we also want to give it to somebody else and blame them that our gifts are not making room for us, or our gifts is not coming to manifestation. If you have the gift in you, God instilled it in you for it to manifest, but you have to work it.
That's it.
And it goes back to sacrifice. And so what I want to say to you today is, when you make that transition over and put on that new coat, they may see you and not recognize you.
Come on now. Thank you. Because everybody that comes with you can't go with you.
Exactly. They come, they cannot go. But my goodness, it has been so great having you on the show today. Listen, everybody, look out for Sue Ham Empire. It's coming. It's coming. The change is already happening. And listen, how can they find you to connect with you? Because somebody may want to sit at your feet.
Come on. Well, you can do that. Everything is it's all together. It's SueHam.com, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. LinkedIn, just go to SueHam.com, and that's where you'll find me.
All right. You heard it out of the mouth of Sue Ham right here on the Prayer Clinic TV show. We thank you for coming in. We thank you for tuning in. And listen, catch us next week, same time, same place, right here at the Prayer Clinic TV show. Hello, this is Pastor Kimberly Green. I am so excited to invite you to find me on YouTube, Kimberly Green International. And I also welcome and invite you to my Facebook page, Kimberly Green International. Also to my Prayer Clinic TV show page right there on Facebook. And if you so like, and if the Lord places on your heart, we're asking you to please sow a donation of any amount to our Cash App at RLWC 3900. That's $, RLWC 3900. Or PayPal at Kimberly Green Ministry. Our physical address is 3900 Camden Highway in the great city of Dazzle, South Carolina. Join me, find me, and connect with me, and you will not be disappointed.